The New York Yankees are off to a very hot start in the AL East. And I told you guys, I knew all along that this was going to happen. Right, Parker? Right? Right?
Didn't both of us put them at like 87 wins and like ridicule them for running back the same lineup the
We
entire offseason?
we shit on them so bad and we look like idiots. But you know what? This is baseball. This is what happens. And I don't want anyone to get too excited because when you're the Yankees and you start 5-1, or you're the Red Sox and you start 1-5,
Come
you
on,
know,
man.
guys.
All right.
It is 162
we
games,
had the
friends.
New York Yankees in our show notes, and we were going to talk to you guys about the New York Yankees. And now Anthony's telling me I have to address the Red Sox at the same time.
No. I'm going to tell you to keep your hat on and chill for a second. We'll get to the Red Sox and the abysmal week that they've had to open the season. Before we do, Parker, let's set that up with talking about the Yankees because you are right. We have been low on the Yankees coming into this season. They've started 5-1. Everyone is seemingly hitting. Cam Schlittler looks like the next coming of Tarek Skubal. Like, what the heck is happening? What have you made of this Yankees start?
When you have a large amount of the same roster and they return to the same clubhouse under the same manager with success from last year, young guys that are improving, leadership structure still intact, guys now signed to longer deals, that when they're good baseball players, they're going to play good baseball. And during the offseason, look, I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm always going to crap on the Yankees a little bit. I was not convinced that their lineup was going to do what their lineup is doing now. We knew that their pitching would be good, but it was also a big question mark at the beginning of the season. However, they're just getting the 95th percentile outcome of both of their big question marks. Is their lineup going to be effective?
Yes.
And it has been. And is their starting rotation going to be able to hold up while Cole and Rodon are out? Turns out both the answers to those questions are yes. And it's been absolutely insane to see. Cam Schlittler is going to be a problem for the AL East and for anyone else that the Yankees play here in the course over the course of his career. The Yankees are 5-1. And I mean, there's only one possible better outcome they could have had over the beginning of this season, and it's 6-0, and they were damn close to getting that too. So I mean, after we saw that introductory series against the Giants, it was like, wow, maybe the Giants are really struggling under Tony Vitello. Maybe this is a Giants problem. No, the Yankees were just really good. The Yankees are just a really good baseball team, and unless the injury bug comes along and dismantles their hopes, they're going to be a problem in the AL East and in the American League in general.
Here's why I think this could make us look like fools come end of this season is obviously we were low on the Yankees, but we did say this one thing. We said if the Yankees were going to be successful in 26, it was going to come down to them holding it together in April and in May, waiting for the return of, like you said, of Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon. If they continue this in April and in May, even anything close to this, they regress to the mean and they're able to play over 500 baseball. In late May and June, we're talking about this team a little bit differently, a lot of bit differently, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about what happened at the beginning of the season when rosters were starting to iron out, when we were starting to figure out, who was going to go where, who was going to start where. You remember when Luis Gil was sent to start the season in AAA? And all of us were like, huh, wow, what the heck, Luis Gil? I thought you were a weapon. He probably still is. He is probably still a very good pitcher. But what's going on is in camp, the Yankees noticed all of the weapons that they already had in the rotation and how good they were going to be and realized that who's a better depth piece than Luis Gil, who's already won a Rookie of the Year award, is already an established big league arm. He can go out there and put up a 3-win season. Why not just throw him down in AAA, let him work on a little bit, work on his, he had a one win above replacement season last year. So like, why not have him go down there and work on some stuff while your other young guys get up and absolutely dominate as you wait for your two big guys to come back from injury. So, I mean, the Yankees have done over the first week, and it's a long season. If I have to keep hearing it about the Red Sox, I'm gonna say it about the Yankees. It is a long season. They have a 2-game lead on the Blue Jays. And you know what? The Blue Jays, they look good. After the show they put on against the A's at home on opening day, the Blue Jays look good. Dylan Cease could win a Cy Young this year. That's how good Dylan Cease looks at the beginning of this season. So if we have a team like that that is going to be constantly locked in combat with the Yankees throughout the season, and I think they will be, then you can't, just hand the division to them. But right now, the best team in baseball right now looks like a toss-up between the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
On the other side of things, Parker, when you look at the Red Sox starting 1-5, and I don't mean to scare you because, again, yes, the season is long. But the reality of it is how many times have we looked at the end of a season and we've gone, wow, if they only had 2 or 3 more good games. And for the Red
Yep.
Sox, Parker, let's say they turn it around and they miss the playoffs by 2 or 3 games, it would have been because they got off to this horrendous start.
Yeah, I mean what's the old adage? You cannot win the division in April, but you certainly can lose it. Well, the Red Sox very well may have lost the division in March because at the end of the play on April 1st, they were 4 games out of first place in the AL East. I mean, Toronto's 4-2, New York's 5-1. Those are the 2 teams you're going to be doing battle with all season. And if you cannot beat the Houston Astros, who I still, after the series they just put up against the Red Sox, I'm still not convinced on. If you cannot beat the Houston Astros at least one time in an indoor facility, like,
Yeah.
what is going to happen when you got, thank God they are playing the Padres in 40-degree weather to open it up at Fenway Park this weekend, because the Red Sox need something to be going on. There is way too much going wrong for this team right now. We have Trevor Story making a couple errors at shortstop. When you have a better defensive shortstop that you force to play second base to allow Trevor Story to continue to play shortstop, Marcelo Meyer is better defensively in every single way than Trevor Story. And that situation is what it is. You have the starting catcher, a guy whose nickname is the captain. He's not officially the captain, but they call Carlos Narvaez the captain in the clubhouse. He's getting benched because he showed up to the ballpark late on the 5th game of
Come
the
on.
season on a Garrett Crochet start. And
That is such an elementary thing.
right. And,
So
I don't think Carlos Narvaez is the kind of guy who does something like that all the time. I don't think he's even a repeat offender, but apparently this was something that Alex Cora and the coaching staff were harping on and pounding into their brains during spring training, that it's not something that was tolerated. And so when it happens to the first guy, you got to make an example out of him. So okay, maybe you write that one off. But when the lineup's not hitting, Garrett Crochet is giving up 5 runs to the Houston Astros. Jose Altuve is hitting
yeah.
2 home runs off of you. Ranger Suarez has an 8 ERA, and he was your big free agent acquisition. Sonny Gray looks like, he can't field a baseball. Brian Bayo's cutting off balls that are being thrown at home like he's Manny Ramirez diving in left field. Everything is going wrong all at the same time. And you know what? Like I said, that this was the 95th percentile outcome for both the Yankees pitching and for their lineup. I think that this is like a 5th percentile outcome for the Red Sox over the first 5 games. So I think this will even out a little bit, but I think that there are some glaring holes that need to be addressed. And I'll let you go for a sec, but I do have more that I want to say. And I think that change might be on the way here for the Red Sox.
I do think that change will be on the way, and I want to kind of tee you up for that here in a second because I'll be interested to know what you think specifically. I will highlight Roman Anthony because I see Roman Anthony's at bats. I mean, this is a guy who just seems like he is never picking up a bat. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what. I mean, he's striking out left and right, just doesn't see the ball. And I think this is the case for a lot of young dudes in his position, right? Whether you have the money or not. You're the number one guy in the franchise, face of the franchise, and you want to make an impression. I get that. But I'm also kind of surprised with Roman Anthony because everything we've heard about him, his maturity, the way he approaches the game, the way he views the game, the way he carries himself day to day on and off the field, something is not clicking. And I don't know if it's his mental purely, if it's in the dugout, if it's the clubhouse culture. I don't know what it is. But I swear, Parker, every time, and I don't mean to shit on your Red Sox, but I know you agree with me. I feel like every time we get a little bit of momentum from the Red Sox, something just jumps right in the way, and it's a story. And here we are again in 2026. We're feeling good about them going into the season. They made some great additions. Everyone's got the vibes. And it's just we're 6 days in, and there's something already. What's the problem? Is there something underlying here that we aren't noticing?
In the last 15 opening days, I think that the Red Sox have won 5 of them. Um, if I'm not mistaken, the Red Sox always open on the road. And up until like last week, I didn't realize it was because it's fucking 35 degrees at Fenway Park right now, and they don't
Yeah.
want to open up end of March at Fenway Park, which makes perfect sense. But I think that has a lot to do with it. And when you have a team that is so young with how do I put it, non-vocal veteran leadership. Like we talked about a little bit ago in another video, so go watch that one. But how Jaron Duran is like kind of disgruntled a bit, or has every right to be with his current situation with the team. That's one of the that's the longest tenured guy on the team. So like if he's not
Yeah.
feeling himself, then that changes the clubhouse dynamic. If Trevor Story's kicking the ball all over the infield, which he has been, that changes clubhouse dynamic. And now we're talking about, I just made a short today. You should go watch it on the channel. And one of the things that kind of came to me while I was recording the short was all I've heard from Red Sox fans since the skid started Roman's going to get it back together, and Connolly Early is starting during the Padres series, and he's been really good. Both of those guys are like 21 and 22 years old. How are we possibly in a situation where the 21 and 22-year-old are going to be the guys that we're leaning on to get us
No.
right? Garrett Crochet gave up 5 runs in 5 innings to the Houston Astros. That's the problem. Ranger Suarez just got signed to a big deal, and he has an 8 ERA. Sonny Gray can't field his position. This is the problem. The veterans in the clubhouse haven't been performing. And you know what? There's some good stuff. There's Wilson Contreras the other day called a timeout and went to the mound and had a mound visit with Brian Bayo in the middle of his start. That was like, wow, look at Wilson. Veteran leadership, speaks the language, former catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him go out there and do some leadership stuff, and it didn't get brought up in the broadcast. I haven't heard anybody talk about it since, but that's the type of shit that I need to see. And the other thing that I need to see, and this is where I think shit is going to change. Alex Cora, you cannot continue to have the worst defensive ball club in Major League Baseball and then build a roster that is built around run prevention and expect to keep your job. I love Alex Cora. I don't think there's a better managerial candidate that you could possibly get through the door if you fire Alex Cora. But at what point as a business are you running a bad business by not holding him most accountable? And look, he'll go in front of the media and hold himself accountable. But at this point, if you're still making the most errors in baseball, something needs to happen. In this past offseason, the infield coach was fired. That was your one opportunity for someone else to be the scapegoat, Alex Cora. If you don't continue to build a team, if you do continue to build a team that plays terrible defense, I don't see any other outcome rather than you have 2 years left in your contract. That's about the time we don't extend you, let you manage one more year and fire you. Like that's just kind of how it goes.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly where I was going to go for a couple very specific reasons. Number one is we have heard from Alex Cora about his aspirations or his thoughts of being more engaged with the front office. And I think right now, given his experience in his career, honestly, I think he just goes and does that. But because something is
I
not
think he'd be
working.
really good at that.
Yes, he would be really good at that. And I go back to just someone we know and love, and I feel like we bring him up every time on this freaking pod. Theo Epstein always said, like, leadership happens in 10-year increments. Like, if you're a place for 10 years, sometimes it's just good to have someone else in the door because an organization changes so much in 10 years. Paraphrasing, but he thought this. And Alex Cora, this team has looked so different. There's been so many different renditions of Red Sox baseball and Red Sox teams since he's been at the helm. And maybe now as you enter this new era, you do, like you said, need to make the business decision that it's not because you don't like Alex Cora. It's not because you don't believe in Alex Cora. It's because that your guy just isn't Alex, and that's okay.
Yeah. How many managers make it through a front office regime change? Not a ton, less than half, I'd say, right?
Let alone
2 front office regime changes in the last 8 years. By the way, Alex Cora was fired and rehired. he has been the manager of the Boston Red
Yes.
Sox under Dave Dombrowski, Chaim Bloom, and Craig Breslow. And look,
Well,
I am not a big Craig Breslow guy. But if Craig was like, look, it's not working out. Craig's job is fucking safe because nobody wants to go be the PBO of the Boston Red Sox right now because private equity has completely ruined what is going on in Boston from a ownership perspective. And the fact when they bought the team, they were not a private equity firm, and now they own a bunch of different sports franchises, and they don't want to shell out any more money for this historic franchise that they owned first. They literally hired Craig because it was the only upwards promotion that was going to be viable and going to be something they could implement that had a chance or a shred of hope at success because no other established executive wanted to be the PBO of the Boston Red Sox because
yeah.
they're so volatile with how quick the trigger is on firing these guys as they come in the door. So the only option for regime change is to let Craig pick a guy that he feels can be his manager. And look, part of the problem with Craig Breslow's Red Sox right now is Craig Breslow himself. The roster construction is insane. The logjam in the outfield is crazy. Alex Cora is at the point now where he literally has to like bench lefties to bat righties against righties in order to get all of his guys playing time. And like these are
I can't do it.
big leaguers. They need to be on the field. So I don't know. I hate the roster construction. It's starting to come and bite them in the butt. I love genuinely. I just want him to figure it out. I just want the defense to get better because I need Alex Cora to be the manager of my baseball club if I'm going to be really happy next year. Like genuinely, I don't want a different manager.
Yeah.
And if that different manager is just I can tell you what, if they fire Alex Cora, that different manager is going to be freaking Andrew Bailey. He's going to be promoted from pitching coach to manager, and it's just going to be Brez's guy is going to be the manager of the team, and I just don't want that at all.
Well, while you get down from your 5-foot soapbox on this team, which
I'm
I know
sorry.
you will continue to hang out up on top of, no problem. I get it. I get it. There's every reason to have concerns for this team in the first 6 games of the season, but just to bring it back home for us tonight on the AL East, the Yankees deserve credit for a good start. Don't get me wrong. But I think the bigger thing and the bigger question, which was always our question with the Yankees, is do they have a truly complete team to compete for 162 with a team like the Blue Jays? Like, which team do you still, if you're putting chips in on the Blue Jays or the Yankees, put everyone else aside for a second, which is the more complete team? I still think I go Blue Jays.
Really?
I do.
In
I do.
August, would you say the same thing, assuming everybody makes it back healthy?
Qualify that a little more for me. So, like, if they
if
still
Cole and
perform,
Rodon come back and they're sub-4 ERAs.
if we're seeing the Yankees regress to the mean and still have like a 450 to 47, I'm sorry. They have like a high 500, low 600 winning percentage in August. I would go at that point with the Yankees. Yes. I think when you have a team like the Yankees playing like that in August, September, they become more inevitable, but they have to be playing well at that point. We've seen Yankees teams that maybe have these hot starts the beginning and the middle of the season, but once they get into the August and they're not consistent, I never bet on the Yankees because they carry that into the offseason. But they end hot. Yeah, I changed my mind on that.
Okay. As of right now, I take the Yankees lineup, the Blue Jays rotation, and the Yankees bullpen, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like I said, if those guys come back healthy, I mean, if Cole comes back healthy, and like, couldn't you see Garrett Cole just being the second coming of Justin Verlander in the second half of his career?
Absolutely.
You know, that's the perfect guy to be that archetype. You know, come off of a Tommy John. First of all, he's been pitching in the major leagues for what, a decade, and he just got Tommy John surgery. Like,
yeah,
this guy's he's kind of poised to do something like that. So if Cole comes back healthy, if Rodon comes back serviceable, which I think that's Rodon's ceiling at this point. I think, you know, a good 3, like a really good 3, a 2 on a worse team or a lesser team. That's kind of Rodon's ceiling. With Max Fried pitching like he does, and Cam Schlittler apparently being the second coming of Roger Clemens, like, Uh, yeah, I think I think the Yankees are so damn good, man. Especially if you're gonna get. Remember, I was saying during the AL East preview, there's a couple guys in that bullpen that could really have good years, and if Camilo Duvall has a crazy, crazy good year, this is a
Yeah,
dangerous team.
absolutely. No, it absolutely is, and it's something that we'll continue to follow as we see if the Yankees can maintain their hot streak going into the season. But you let us know in the comments. Tell us if you had to pick today which AL East team is going to be the most equipped to challenge the Yankees here in 2026. Thanks for listening here at Rally Cap.